Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. It is Sunday today, and I have missed my last couple of videos because life has just been a bit crazy. We took on Coconut, which I showed in the last Sunday chat. I'll try and get some footage of him to put in here. And he was an orphan lamb. His mum got attacked by wild dogs, dingoes, and was killed, and he was injured as well. So he had a piercing injury in the back of his rump and needed to be hand reared. So we took him on. He is a baby doll lamb. So he looks kind of like a fluffy teddy bear, and we took him on and started feeding him, but it turns out he had a couple more wounds that hadn't been noticed initially, so we had to get some vet work done and some shaving around those wounds, some more subcutaneous antibiotics and things like that. His tummy was a little bit upset, probably from the antibiotics and everything else. We had to swap formulas for him and stuff as well. Anyway, last night he went a little bit downhill, looked like he might have had a bit of bloat, so then we had to electrolyte him and things like that, and warm belly stuff, and he's still got a cough, which is very common in hand-reared lambs because of bottle feeding and things like that. So we're still nursing him back. He's pretty good. He has definitely perked up this morning compared to what he was last night, which is nice. He woke me up yelling at 5:30 this morning. But we're withholding milk at the moment and only giving him electrolytes, so he's not real happy with me. He's actually curled up in front of the fire at the moment, so that's good. He's just having a bit of a nap, and he's actually curled up. Last night he was, with the upset stomach and everything else, he was stretching out. He was very uncomfortable, kicking his legs out and stretching his neck out, and very, very uncomfortable. So we did give him a bit of bicarb and some electrolytes and things like that, and overnight he's passed some wind and he seems to be a lot better today, though I think we're still going to have to watch him for a bit. So we've had all that going on. Amongst, just normal everyday life stuff, and trying to get the new schooling sorted and everything else. So just haven't managed to film. We've got issues with this secondary solar. I think I mentioned it last week. We have two sets of solar arrays. One is out in the garden that we use that actually runs to the kitchen, and we use it for the garden as well. And then the main significant one on the house that runs all the everyday stuff, all the fridges and freezers and all that sort of stuff. We actually have some batteries, a new inverter charge controller, and everything we need to set up another small system that we're going to use to run this side of the house, because like at the moment I'm running the 3D printers, which you can probably hear in the background, and I'll show you in a moment. But when you run the 3D printers, I can't run the generator to top up the inverter because it's the fluctuation in the power. It doesn't like it. And we have a fairly small inverter because we watch our power usage rather than like increasing the size of things like that. So we're having some issues. The secondary solar isn't working real well, which means that running kitchen equipment has become a bit of a challenge at times, and it's been raining on and off for like 2 weeks now, and every time it rains the roof in the kitchen leaks, which is something that's way up there on the list of things that needs to be done, and we're just not getting there. So I haven't been filming much. I've just been cooking meals that were easy and stuff that we always make, and I haven't been doing anything out of the ordinary. Luckily we've got all those breakfast sandwiches that I made in bulk still. The kids have been big on noodles at the moment with the poached eggs and things like that, and I've just been cooking like normal. So like last night we had green chicken curry. So I've got the hamper to show you, so I'll get into that and show you that for the people who don't want to hang around for the rest of the discussion. And after that I'll show you the stuff that I've been doing with the 3D printer, and I'll talk about some of the schoolwork planning that I've been doing and trying to get that sorted because everyone's been keen on that. Also the books that I've been reading, and I'm going to discuss just lots of bits and pieces like I normally squirrel around on a Sunday, and try and get this out today rather than tomorrow morning because I've been slack with videos. But food hamper. So each month we have the opportunity to access Aberdeen Food Pantry. Aberdeen Food Pantry is run by Peter and Lois, and Peter and Lois are organised this food pantry, this food hamper for us, and it is, you pay $50 and you get what you get. You have to pay in advance, so you pay the week before it's arrived so that they know how many to get, and they organise for it to come all the way out here so that we collect it from a shed at their place. They get barrels of bins full of fresh fruit and veg when they can, and extras when they can, and they also have a pantry that allows you to purchase discounted goods from too. No, you don't have to have anything to access the food hamper or food pantry. You don't have to have healthcare cards or pension cards or anything like that. Anybody is able to access it, which I think is a wonderful thing, because even if you aren't, like, we're really on a push to get rid of any sort of government support. We're trying really hard to get to a point where we don't need that government support, but to do that we still need a little bit of help to get to that point, and so things like this definitely help, though we are in a good position at the moment and there's lots of people who aren't. So it's great that we can help purchase these, which can help the people who aren't in a good place. So by the ability of us to purchase these hampers, it gives Peter and Lois the opportunity to help families who can't afford to purchase them, or who going through issues or whatever else. These, something that I reiterate regularly, because I do get people come in and say, I'm spending $1,000 on groceries, why am I getting food hampers or food bank or whatever else? Part of the way that these food banks and food pantries and all that manage to help out the people who really need the help is by being supported by the people who can afford to purchase the hampers. So by us being customers of the food pantry, that allows Peter and Lois to redirect funds to the places that actually need them. So if they didn't have people who were paying for the hampers, they wouldn't be able to do that. So, don't feel bad about accessing them. There's quite a few. I try, and every time I do one of these videos, I have forgotten to do this spiel a bit on the last few, but when I do them, I try and say if anyone has any questions about any in their area or knows some in their area, then put it in the comments for other people to find, because I don't know much except for the Brisbane and Toowoomba area. So I know that there's Food Assist and Lighthouse in Toowoomba that are both fantastic services, and then there's Aberdeen Pantry out here where we are, but in Brisbane there's also Lighthouse, and I think there's a Food Assist in Brisbane as well, and there's one more, and I can't think of the name of it, but there's a few of them in Brisbane as well there's quite a few around, and a lot of them have the ability for you to access it even if you don't have a pension card or whatever else, because everyone needs a little help every now and again, and it's great that they can access it. And as I said, by purchasing them, it also allows these businesses, these not-for-profits, these charities to provide for the people who can't afford it, and that's the way it goes. So $50 hamper, you get what is ever comes in that $50 hamper, and you have the opportunity to purchase fruit and veg from the bins at a price depending on what they got it for. So sometimes it's $2 for a shopping bag full of fruit, or it's might be $1 for a watermelon, or $2 for a pumpkin, or whatever it is. And Darryl is the one who goes and collects it, because I don't leave the house very much. People are not really my thing. And so he goes and collects it, and then he goes to the pantry as well. So the pantry is a little bit of a shop that they sell all sorts of discounted things. Darryl uses that as a snack and treat top up, basically. He goes and spends sort of $30 on top of the hamper to buy snacks and crisps, and the snacks and chips and crisps and all those sorts of things, all the sort of crunchy stuff that we buy a minimal of when we do the monthly shopping, mostly because it takes up space, is a lot of it. That sort of packet stuff takes up a lot of room, and the kids, and like all kids, when it's there they want to eat it. So by doing it in these, doing a portion of it at the monthly shop and then a portion of it at the pantry, it means that it's going to last longer, just inherently going to last longer, because children are children. So he normally buys some treats there. We actually also got some of the protein bars that we really like for 50 cents each, which was fantastic, because we normally pay $3 or $4 for those. I try and get them half price, so $2 or $3, but at the same time we normally pay a fair bit for those, and he really likes having them in a drawer for him to snack on when he's doing the low carb carnivore type thing. So that was nice. So this is the monthly hamper. I recorded it when we got it home, so hopefully I've covered everything in there. So I'll show you that hamper and then I'll come back. Alrighty, we are in August and this is the food hamper. So for this month we got a bag of rice, some Le Snack biscuits and a box of Wheaties, some strawberry jam. Sonnet will enjoy that. Strawberry jam apparently is her favourite jam. We got some of the broccoli and cauli rice and some rissoles of some sort, a bolognese sauce, some spiral pasta, a couple of packs of some pretzels and some veggie straws, a thing of chicken tenderloins and some jelly beans, a couple of the frozen meals, goat curry and rice, creamy chicken and vegetables, chicken casserole with potatoes, and a couple of the full meals, Asian chicken hot pot and chicken and vegetable hot pot, as well as a couple of tins as usual, mixed veggies, tin spaghetti, diced tomatoes and spaghetti, another spaghetti there, a pineapple Fanta, as well as, I'd say this is the bag that came with the hamper, which is a mixed bag with some corn and some sweet potatoes, and there's a small bag of mandarins there, and 3 loaves of bread, and then the fruit and veg that Darryl bought, I'm guessing, is the big bag of sweet potatoes and the big bag of mandarins. We also got a box of pies there's 30 of them apparently, of pies as part of the hamper, so one of these boxes came with the hamper. Darryl went to the pantry like he normally does and splurged on some of the snack stuff for the kids, so they had these protein bars for 50 cents, which is really good because we pay like $3 something for these, even on sale. A couple of the strawberry roller sticks, which are actually one of my favourite treats, some baked pretzels, some of the Rocky Road and apple crumble protein bars that he bought last time that the kids really liked. There's some yogurt topped rice cakes. He got me some instant coffee because the big tin of instant coffee that I have got tipped over the other day, so we grabbed that just in case I needed it. A couple of packs of the barbecue rice snacks and a box of the Sun Bites rice crackers. They also had frozen boxes of party pies for sale in the pantry, so there's 40 in each box, and he grabbed 2 boxes of those, and he said it was about $30 for all the bits and pieces of extra, as well as the $50 hamper. Alright, so I wandered off to do stuff and now I don't remember where I was up to or anything, which is pretty normal. I did take some footage and tried to pull some footage off I've got a time-lapse camera set up for the 3D printer, but I'm still working on the best way to export the video and create it, but I'll put some clips in here while I'm talking. So we have the 3D printers going. I forgot to say that was the hamper for the month. We have the 3D printers going when we can in regards to power, but as I said, we're having a fair bit of power issues at the moment. I actually have both of them running at the moment because I really wanted to get some stuff done, and then went and turned the washing machine on and it's overloading the inverter. So once one of these projects finishes, I will turn that machine off. I'll get the washing machine going and I'll get some washing going. Part of the problem is the length of days at the moment. It is overcast most of the time and also shorter days, which isn't helping with anything cooler. And there's a lot of things that become a juggle when it comes to power usage and things like that when the seasons change and stuff like that. And we mostly get it figured, but without that secondary solar, it's causing some issues. So we'll get there. So I've got the 3D printers going. So what I wanted to show you was that I've been looking at a bunch of different things to make for myself. And then because I've said many times, the things that I make or sell or even share cooking wise and stuff, they're always things that I'm going to use, because I'm not going to put that much effort into something that I'm not also going to use. But I also, I don't know, it's the way I do it. So for Christmas last year, we always do an advent. We normally do books. So I normally have 12 to 24 books, picture books that I buy each year for the kids to have one each night as their bedtime story with Darryl. Darryl's normally the one who does the evening bedtime stories. And then we also normally do a treat of some sort. And last year what I did was I bought these capsule dispensers from Kmart. I bought a couple of really cheap cardboard ones, and then what I did was I refilled the eggs with stuff that I bought so that we had enough for all 6 kids over the whole month. when I was looking around at the 3D printing stuff, what I found, let me adjust you, is these. So these are capsule dispensers that you 3D print. Now I've found this one here and another one that someone else has designed that I am, you know, looking at the patterns of and figuring out what I want to use and adapting how I want to use them and things like that. This one's printed out at 100% and fits 50 mil or 2-inch balls in it, and I think it's a little bigger than I really want for the time that it takes to print and things like that. But it has its own little thing inside and balls come out. Now you refill it with a cap at the back that comes out, and you refill the hopper with your balls, which means that you can have, I haven't tested how many balls it fits in it yet because I don't have enough balls. I'm getting some more. But that means that for, like, especially for me who's using these for multiple kids, though, because I'm doing prototypes, you know, my kids might end up with one each. But when you're doing these, the idea is that I can refill it, so I can put enough in there, fill it, and then I refill it with another lot and that sort of thing. So this is a big square one. I just did this in random colors that I really liked because I'm into blues and greens, and this is what I ended up doing. Now, it's a long print time. This is like 30 something hours worth of printing, and most of that's not hands-on, but it's still using the printer for that amount of time. So I was looking at some other options, and I'm going to shrink this one down to 80%, which is what I'm printing at the moment. And then the printer, it'll fit 40 mil or 1.5 inch balls, which I think is plenty big enough for what we do, which is little tokens, whether it's lollies, whether it's whatever. We do one ball per child, so each child gets to spin a ball out and get something out of the ball, so they don't have to be particularly big. And it's just it's very much just a trinkety, like, novelty thing for that Christmas month, just to make Christmas month even, you know, that much more entertaining. So this one is the square one that I was looking at. And then this one is the round one that I also printed, which I kind of like better. I'm going to, as I said, there's some customization and some adaptations that I want to do to each of them. So this was the first one that I printed, to just print it as the pattern is given, which is what I try and do. It's like recipes. I always try and do as written the first time round. So this is the same concept, except that the opening is on the top. So it's got a opening at the top to put your balls in, and it has this in the back as well. So on the inside of this one, it's quite deep back, and the balls have to fall in the front here. So it has like a bingo thing where you can like rattle around the balls before you drop one out. I've got the wrong size ball in this at the moment because the kids were playing with it. And the ball falls out. The little thing there. So I chose the colors for this one. I did wood tone for the ramps and the legs and things like that, and then I used one of my gradients for the barrel, which I really liked the idea of that. And some of these are going to be, for me, some are going to be samples. So the idea is that I can print out a bunch of, like, I can have a couple of samples of different, like the gradients or whatever, and you can customize them to a degree. Obviously I'm not going to offer full customization because it's not going to be feasible, but I'm thinking about offering some of these. Now we'd have to do it at like very preemptively for Christmas. And I'm looking at ways to customize it with names and stuff like that, because I think that would be neat too, especially if you're buying it for individual children or even a family. I could put words on here, or I could put a stand-up word here, or whatever. I haven't decided yet. This is the initial prototypes, but you guys wanted to know what I was doing in the way of the 3D printing, and this is the sort of thing that I've been doing. So I'm going to use them regardless, and that's the whole point of figuring out how they work for me. But I did think about offering some for sale as well, because the concept, I can use them every year then. So the idea is that I can have these and put them away and use them every year, and that's really neat. So yes, that's what I've been working on at the moment, with figuring out what I want to do, and planning my Christmas because it's getting close to Christmas. And if I'm going to sell stuff in the shop again for Christmas, then I have to do the right thing. I have a tree to cut for a customer, for a viewer, and I'm going to cut that during this week. I'll take some footage of cutting that tree. I've already put the design up. I just need her to proof it for me and make sure that the spelling's all correct, and I will cut that family tree for her. And I still have plenty of stock to be able to do family trees, and I adore them. I think they're amazing, family trees. So if anyone's interested in them this year, then that's fine too. But I also want to do some stuff with the 3D printer. So I've done a bunch of different things lately with it, but most of them have just been for the kids and stuff. Like we did an R2-D2 chunk for Darryl to go on his shelves, and the kids have new little action figures, and the tissue boxes, I'm still working on the tissue boxes, so I've got them almost right. I've got a couple of designs, so once I get all the prototypes done for them too, I will share them. So the toilet roll tissue boxes are something that I just wanted to create the designs for the outside of them, and I wanted it to be my own stuff. So there's a little bit of work left in that, but it's almost done. But again, I'm sort of just prepping to decide what I want to do for future, just for Christmas or just future or whatever else. It's all, you know, all up in the air. We're also doing a lot of the school planning stuff. So the distance ed stuff I've talked about, we changed to distance ed rather than straight HEU homeschooling. And part of that is that there's a platform that you have, and each child has their own time on that platform, their own space on that platform, and I can log into their own spaces to check their due work and whether they've submitted work and what they've got coming up that week and things like that. And I've then been trying to collate it into something that works for me. So I have one of my travel journals here. Also got this one recently from a new company, because the one that I got from previous company I just wasn't overly happy with, and I've got a new company one, and I got it done with the Progress Not Perfection, and thinking that I might share these guys as something, because I really like it. But anyway, they have a weekly planner in them, and I have been doing up a big thing about the schooling for all the kids, and then trying to work out what I need to do each day with them to make sure that they complete the work that's on their platforms. And I did this, but that made it really hard for Darryl to follow as well. So I also wanted to figure out a sheet that I could write out for each child. So I've got these to do this week as well. So each child, what they need to complete each day, as well as their online classes and things like that. So we're still figuring out the process of all that and making it work, and making sure that they get enough work submitted to get their passing marks. We're not overly concerned. It's primary school for the younger ones. The older ones obviously are a little bit more self-directed and a little bit more self-motivated to get the work done. But the three small boys, it's primary school. So if they have some nil results on some subjects, then we're not overly concerned. We focus on English and maths and science and you know, that sort of stuff. So we're still working on that. We're still getting there. But yeah, that's been a big thing too. So there's been a lot that has just cascaded. But anyway, there was something else that I needed to talk about today. So YouTube sent me a notification thing the other day about a promotion that they're doing for their memberships, right? And they're doing a promotion at the moment that if you start up your memberships before the end of the month, then you get a $800 bonus, Australian dollar bonus. And then for each person who signs up as a member within that first 30 days, up to a maximum of $800, you get $8 per member as a bonus. Now, I haven't done memberships on YouTube. I did a Patreon for people because people asked about it, but I still feel bad about Patreon because I just cannot make any extra content. I just really struggle with extra content. But I have been talking about trying to do better and still not managing it, but trying. And then this promotion came up, and I know that a few people have sort of said they'd like to do the memberships on YouTube rather than on Patreon. So I think I might open it up so that people can join, and then I have the opportunity to earn that bonus. But I'm still not exactly sure how to make it worth your while. I know some people do extra members only videos, and some people do, like, they release the videos a couple of hours early for the members and things like that. But I was doing really well at scheduling and timing and everything for like 2 months there, and it's fallen off again. So I feel like that's not a great draw card for people, but at the same time, I don't know. So I was talking with a friend, and she was suggesting about the recipes without the backstory and stuff like that. So for a recipe to go up on the blog, for it to be Google searchable and long form content and allow you to eventually get sponsorship on your blog and stuff like that, you have to have a certain amount of long form content to go with a recipe, which is why I tend to not get there, because it's not just the recipe, it's the long form content that also has to go with it. And I was just suggested about that I could potentially do recipes without any of that long form content in a place for maybe the members or something, and then I can eventually get that up on the blog properly, which can also help because I can potentially get ads and stuff on the website, and you know, like all these different small income streams that add up to enough for us is the plan. So maybe that would be an option. I don't know. So the other thing was that I was talking about books and stuff last month, so I wanted to talk about that this month too. This week, month, whatever it was, about the books that I've been reading. So I did a big list of all the authors in that last video. Everyone listed some authors, and I got all those authors. And what I did was I went into Amazon and to the Kindle site, and I added like the first of a series of each of those authors into it's a wish list, because I didn't know how else to do a list there, but it's a wish list, and I'll share it. So that covers books that are coming up in a series that I haven't got yet because they haven't been released, or books that people have suggested that are added to my list and things like that. So I'll share that with anyone who's interested, because there was a few people who said, you know, they'd love the suggestions of books as well. So I will do that. I have been this month book-wise, I think I went back to a few series that I hadn't. Let me have a look at my calendar, my book calendar. I think I went back to a couple of authors that I know, and some books that came out. So I went back and read some more of Elle Thorpe's books. I spoke about her last month. She's got the new one coming out this month. So I went back and read some of the ones that I had missed in parts of her series. So I read those. But I also read some Erin Flynn ones, which are a series that I've read a lot of her. She has some very long series that have been ongoing for years and years that I've been reading. But there was one that I must have missed, a new series. I went back and read that one, and things like that. So what I've tried to do is tried to update my Goodreads to make sure that everything that I'm reading is going on there. So I'm going to share that link, and I'll share that wishlist link on the Amazon. I could probably create a list on Goodreads actually that has those books on it. That might be a way to do it too, and create different, because I think you can create bookshelves and stuff. I used Goodreads many, many years ago, and then I stopped using it. So I don't know, I've only just started back up again from like June, and I've never really played with it. So maybe I need to have a look at that. I've just been adding the books as I go through. But it was suggested, squirreling, it was suggested that we could do some sort of a book club potentially as well, for people who are interested. Like pick a book. Maybe we decide, we get a bit of a poll going or something, and we pick a book that's that we want to read, and we all read it, and then we can have a discussion about it or something. I don't know. We'll see how we go. The podcast thing was too. I was supposed to get that started. I was supposed to do a bit of a 7-year roundup of being out here off grid and things like that. And life has been challenging. My world is a little bit tilted at the moment. Which is impacting everything I do. It's not necessarily my stories to tell of what is impacting my life. So it makes it very hard to decide what to share and what not to, and how to share it. And I'm not very good at. I'm not a woe is me person. So I sometimes feel like sharing things like that makes it feel like I'm looking for sympathy or that sort of thing. And it's not it's, and I don't have to explain myself either, but at the same time, it impacts my world, and then that impacts YouTube, and it impacts, and then I feel like I have to make excuses because I can't give valid reasons, and it's a cyclical thing. It really is, and being able to share enough to get across things without oversharing is a really significant thing, because I never intended to be as personally sharing as I have ended up on YouTube. Like, you know, sharing, yeah, I don't know, it's hard. So yes, life has been challenging. There is a lot of change going on in my world, and some of that change is, well, none of that change is by my choice. I suppose I'll put it there. So my world and future and plans for the future and plans for right now and everything have been altered, not by my choice, and by other people's choices, and I would never squash other people's choices. So I am supporting them in the ways that I can without really understanding, and I'm kind of losing myself a little bit in the process. So there's some challenges. So I've been trying to make the effort of finding some me time as well, which involves the drawing and the designing and stuff too. I really enjoy that sort of stuff. But I have this guilt factor when I'm drawing or designing or things like that, about the fact that I should be doing other things, which is totally on me. But the inability to allow myself some time is sometimes difficult, which is why I read, because I can get caught up in a book and then I can sit there and read and I can waste time, which is how I feel it is. It's not, but I can waste time reading because I get so caught up in the book. But I have been doing something, so I'll put them up on the screen here. There's this company that makes puzzles, great games, and they're Australian, but they also run Kickstarters. And we did one of these puzzles Christmas before last or something. I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I did. And it was super fun. And I really enjoy puzzles, but it's finding the time and the place and everything to sort it out. So what I did was I ordered some of their puzzles, because they have limited runs of different puzzles. And the puzzles have like riddles and stuff with them too. So you do the puzzle, it's themed, and then you have to find things in the puzzle and all that sort of stuff anyway. And then on Temu I found this foldable felt desktop puzzle thing, so you can do the puzzle on this slightly tilted felt thing and it folds up, but it doesn't roll up, because I don't like the roll up ones. I find that they're useless, but this one's just flat, so it means it requires a little bit more storage space when you're storing it, but that's fine. But I got that, and a coffee table that I've been looking at for years, which has the top that lifts slightly so that when you're sitting somewhere, the tabletop for the coffee table is up sort of at your lap. So the plan is to do some of those puzzles and have some time out and do that sort of thing, which will be nice. And of course, the garden is, I'm not sure exactly how far I'm going to go with the garden this year, but I definitely will start some seedlings and stuff. I do enjoy that process of potting up and putting in the ground and all the rest of it. I've just had so many disappointing years lately that sometimes it's hard, but I definitely think I'll do that. So the plan is to try and do a little bit more time for myself as well, and hope that that's going to reflect on my ability to get the more important stuff done in a little bit more of a timely manner, but we'll see. Anyway, I have squirreled so bad that I don't even know where that conversation quite started. And when I edit it, I'm going to just sit there and shake my head at myself, because I do that a lot. I remember when I first started editing videos of myself, just sitting there looking at myself, it was just embarrassing. It has improved. I've become a little more acclimated to looking at myself on camera and listening to myself ramble, and sometimes will even smile at some of the shit that I say, but you know. So yes, now I'm not going to bake today because I've got pork belly pulled out for dinner tonight, as well as some chicken wings and stuff like that. So I did all that preemptively yesterday or the day before. And I'm not going to make bread to go with any of those. And we had the hamper yesterday as well, so we got some loaves of bread with that, so I don't want more breads for anything to go to waste. And I was going to do a sweet treat, but I decided that I just didn't feel up to it. With the lack of power in my kitchen and everything else, I just decided I wasn't going to. And I wanted to show you that 3D stuff too, so I've done that. I think that's it for today. I think I've covered everything, so I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you guys on the next video. I don't know what it'll be or when, and I'm working on trying to figure out how to make a little bit more consistency happen, but just, you know, this is what it is. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.